As the world entered the financial year 2025-26, the long-standing rules-based economic order came under severe strain. The Russia-Ukraine conflict remained unresolved, the Israel-Hamas crisis continued to disrupt regional stability, and America's evolving stance toward Russia signaled deeper global fractures. Major powers, from the UK and France to Japan and South Korea, began reassessing defense priorities. President Trump's 2025 national security strategy made one reality clear: great power competition has returned. The Indo-Pacific stands at the center of this contest, with the US and China emerging as the two dominant rivals. Around them, countries like Japan, Russia, the Koreas, India, Australia, Vietnam, and others are being pulled into a strategic struggle that few can avoid. The United States has begun reshaping global engagement in ways unseen since the Cold War. Washington is reducing its commitment to NATO, questioning its expansion, and imposing import duties of up to 50% to revive domestic manufacturing. More such economic realignments may follow. The message is clear: America is fortifying itself for long-term strategic competition. Several American actions in recent years point to a deliberate Indo-Pacific pivot. First, the US has elevated South Korea and the Philippines to the same security tier as Japan. Any attack on these nations will be treated as an attack on the United States. Second, AUKUS strengthens Australia with nuclear-powered submarines, expanding Western maritime power in the region. Third, through LMOA, India now provides logistical access to US forces, enabling Washington to concentrate more combat assets in the Pacific against a potential China-Russia maritime alignment. Fourth, Europe is being urged to bear more responsibility within NATO so that American resources can be shifted toward Asia. Fifth, the 2023 terrorist attack on Israel forced a temporary US redeployment, but Washington swiftly restored balance through a mediated truce. Finally, the US has tightened its focus on Taiwan, signaling it will not hesitate to use its full military might should China initiate an assault. In any crisis scenario, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines face the greatest risk. For the US, the strategic opportunity lies in using India, not as a primary combatant, but to draw Chinese attention and resources away from the Pacific. China, meanwhile, has spent the last 2 decades trying to break out of the US-led first and second island chains. Taiwan is central to this ambition. To counter American dominance, China has expanded its overseas footprint, a base in Djibouti, access to Gwadar through CPEC, port leases in Sri Lanka and Myanmar, and growing influence in Bangladesh and Central Asia. Artificial islands in the South China Sea, rapid naval expansion, and partnerships with Southeast Asian and Pacific nations all reflect China's quest for strategic depth across the Indo-Pacific. Despite periodic tensions, China does not see India as a primary threat. Key Chinese economic and industrial centers lie over 4,000 kilometers eastward, and Beijing's main concern remains the US and Japan. China's border infrastructure is largely defensive. However, Beijing understands that Washington will attempt to use India to stretch Chinese strategic resources. A war with India would make little sense for China, as it would expose its coastline to American pressure. In this equation, the US benefits the most if India and China remain engaged in prolonged hostility. India has responded to these challenges with a coordinated diplomatic and military approach. The whole-of-nation strategy has accelerated defense manufacturing, strengthened the Navy, and modernized the Army and Air Force. India's 2 aircraft carriers are operational, nuclear submarine development is progressing, and indigenous shipbuilding has gained momentum, adding nearly 1 warship every 40 days. The Andaman and Nicobar Command enhances control over the Malacca Strait, while exercises like Malabar deepen naval cooperation with strategic partners. Infrastructure expansion in Lakshadweep and Agalega, stronger relations with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, and deeper ties with Central Asia all contribute to India's growing strategic footprint. US-China rivalry will intensify, with Taiwan as the trigger point. Russia will remain preoccupied with Europe, limiting its role in Asian geopolitics. India, meanwhile, must continue to strengthen its military, maintain diplomatic balance, and avoid being drawn into a direct US-China confrontation. Neither China nor India is the other's primary threat, but both must remain vigilant. Ultimately, the US may prefer to confront China through India. For New Delhi, the challenge of the next decade will be ensuring it does not become collateral damage in this great power competition.